Gentlemen, what if I told you that the supplement you've trusted for years, the one every article and commercial keeps promising, will restore your strength, may be the very reason your performance keeps getting worse? Imagine discovering that zinc, the mineral you thought was your lifeline, has been quietly failing men over 60 across America. And the longer you rely on it, the more you ignore the real problem. Fading circulation that steals your confidence, your energy, and the firm, reliable erections you used to wake up with effortlessly. Most men never talk about this kind of decline. They hide it, carry it alone, pretend it's just aging. But deep down, the fear is real. The frustration is real. And the heartbreak of wanting to show up as the man you used to be, yet feeling your body slip away, is heavier than most will ever admit. But here's the truth I want you to hear from me. Not from a commercial, not from a supplement label, from a doctor who has sat across from men just like you and listened to what you carry in silence. The solution isn't another pill. It isn't zinc. It's a simple vegetable that restores blood flow while you sleep, repairing your arteries and reviving your performance in as little as 24 hours. And the science behind it is real. I'm Dr. Jocelyn, and today I'm going to show you exactly how this works. Before we continue, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that now so you never miss another men's health breakthrough that could genuinely change your life. And if this message already speaks to what you've been feeling, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 so I can tailor future videos to better serve you. Now, let's get into the real reason this vegetable outperforms zinc for men over 60. 1. The truth. Zinc is not the magic solution for men over 60. For years, men have been told a story so convincing that many never question it. A story that promises strength, vitality, performance, and the return of the man they once knew. That story is zinc. But here is the truth most will never hear. Countless men over 60 are swallowing their daily zinc supplement with hope in their hearts, only to discover month after month that nothing is changing. Some even feel themselves slipping further away from the man they used to be. And the most painful part is not the physical decline. It's the quiet fear that maybe nothing will ever work again. Imagine spending years believing zinc would be the bridge back to your vitality, only to wake up one morning and realize that everything you've been depending on was built on an incomplete promise. You're not feeling stronger. You're not feeling more alive. Your erections aren't returning. And somewhere inside, a part of you starts whispering, maybe this is just my new normal. I've seen that look in the eyes of my patients. Men who have tried everything. Men who came into my office quietly defeated. It's not just about performance. It's about identity, confidence, and the deep desire to still feel capable in your own body. But what your doctor may never have fully explained is that zinc is only useful in a very narrow set of circumstances. Circumstances that most older men no longer fall into. After 60, your digestive system becomes less efficient at absorbing minerals. Inflammation becomes more common. Blood vessels stiffen. Nitric oxide levels plummet. And without nitric oxide, no amount of zinc can help your blood flow where it needs to go. This is why so many men feel stuck. They're relying on a tool that no longer fits the job their aging body needs done. It's like trying to fix a broken engine by polishing the hood. Zinc is not harmful. It's simply incomplete. It addresses a detail, not the foundation. And this is where the emotional truth becomes undeniable. Men don't lose confidence because of age. They lose confidence because no one gives them the right information. They blame themselves for something that has nothing to do with discipline, masculinity, or willpower. The real problem isn't low zinc. It's low circulation. It's the quiet fading of blood flow, the soft decline of nighttime repair, the slow loss of nitric oxide that no supplement bottle warns you about. And once you understand that, everything begins to make sense. All the symptoms you thought were aging suddenly become solvable. But here's the part that surprises most of my patients. Fixing this isn't complicated. It doesn't require prescriptions, injections, or expensive treatments. It starts with one simple shift, a natural source of nighttime nourishment that restores blood flow from the inside out while your body rests. And this shift is so powerful, so rooted in human physiology, that many men feel the difference faster than they ever expected. So if zinc isn't the answer, what is the natural solution your body has been waiting for? And why does it work better for men over 60 than any supplement lining the shelves today? The answer begins with a vegetable most men overlook, and its impact is far greater than you might imagine. Let's uncover it now. 2. The vegetable that restores nighttime blood flow. Beetroot. Most men have no idea that the very ingredient their body is starving for is not hidden in a supplement bottle, not locked behind a prescription, and not found in some exotic herb from across the world. It's sitting quietly in the produce aisle, passed over every single day by men who would give anything to feel whole again. The truth is this: one of the most powerful tools for rebuilding male performance isn't a pill. It's a humble vegetable that has been restoring circulation in older men more effectively than zinc, testosterone boosters, or over-the-counter performance aids. And the reason almost no one talks about it is simple. You can't patent a vegetable. For many of the men I've worked with, the journey back to themselves begins with beetroot. It sounds almost too simple, too ordinary, too plain to matter. Yet inside this unassuming vegetable lies one of nature's richest sources of dietary nitrates, fuel your body converts into nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for opening blood vessels, increasing oxygen flow, and waking up the parts of a man that time slowly tries to silence. When circulation weakens, everything follows. Energy drops, confidence fades, and erections become unpredictable. But beetroot gives the body something it desperately needs, something that medications and supplements often fail to provide: the raw material for real, lasting blood flow. What makes this vegetable so unique is how it works during the hours when most men feel completely powerless while they sleep. Older men often believe nighttime is when decline happens, when the body slows down and loses more ground than it gains. But beetroot flips that expectation entirely. Once consumed, its nitrates begin a quiet transformation inside your body. By the time you lie down to rest, these nitrates are converting into a reserve of nitric oxide that your body releases through the night. As you sleep, your arteries relax, your tissues repair, your blood finds pathways it hasn't traveled easily in years. Morning arrives, and with it comes a feeling many men thought they had left behind long ago. A sense of fullness, warmth, and readiness that doesn't come from luck, but from restored circulation. The men in my clinic are often surprised not by the vegetable itself, but by the emotions that return with improved blood flow. Small things begin to change. They wake up feeling lighter. They stand a little taller. Their confidence comes back piece by piece, as if they're reclaiming parts of themselves they had quietly mourned. It's not about being 20 again. It's about being fully alive at the age they are now. And the most incredible part is how naturally the body responds. No forcing, no overstimulation, no side effects, just a gentle, steady rebuilding of the foundation men depend on far more than they ever admit out loud. Beetroot does not fix everything, but it gives the body the very thing it needs to start repairing what time has worn down. But if beetroot is this powerful, why do men over 60 benefit from it even more than younger men? And what changes inside the aging body that makes this vegetable almost perfectly matched to their needs? Let's explore that now. 3. Why men over 60 benefit more from this vegetable than younger men. Here's the truth most men never see coming. The very thing that makes aging feel heavy, slow, or discouraging is the same thing that makes this vegetable dramatically more powerful for older men than for anyone else. Younger men don't get the same life-changing effect because their bodies simply don't need it the way yours does. And while that may sound unfair at first, it is actually the reason so many men in their 60s and 70s experience improvements far greater than they ever expected. The older body is not broken. It is simply waiting for the right form of support. As men age, subtle changes begin to unfold inside them long before the symptoms appear. Blood vessels lose their flexibility. The inner lining of the arteries becomes stiffer. Nitric oxide levels, once abundant, begin to fall year after year. By the time a man reaches 60, he may have lost more than half of his natural nitric oxide production without ever realizing it. This decline touches every part of his life: energy, stamina, confidence, circulation, and especially the ability to achieve strong, spontaneous erections. It's not age that takes these away. It's the quiet fading of blood flow. And this is where beetroot becomes profoundly important. Younger men have a natural advantage. They already have flexible arteries, high nitric oxide levels, and strong endothelial function. Their bodies don't need the same level of nitrate support because their circulation is already primed. But older men, their bodies are hungry for it. Beetroot doesn't just supplement what's missing. It fills a void created by decades of natural decline. That's why older men often feel the difference faster. Their bodies respond almost gratefully, as if someone finally handed them the exact ingredient they've been missing for years. Many men describe the experience not just in physical terms, but emotional ones. They say they feel warmth returning to their hands and feet. They wake up with a sense of strength that feels familiar yet distant. They notice their mind becomes clearer, their breathing easier, their steps lighter. What they're really feeling is circulation returning to places it has slowly abandoned. And at this stage of life, that shift is more than biological. It's deeply personal. It's a reminder that their best days are not behind them. Their bodies still know how to respond. They simply needed the right signal. Beetroot works with the older body, not against it. It uses the nitrite-nitric oxide pathway precisely at the time in life when that pathway begins to weaken. Younger men benefit, yes, but older men are transformed. They feel what it's like to have their arteries wake back up. They feel what it means to repair instead of decline. They feel possibility again. And the most stunning part is that this transformation doesn't require force or medication. It happens during the quiet hours of sleep, when the world is still and the body has a chance to heal. That healing is what every older man deserves. And this vegetable helps spark it. But how exactly does this transformation happen inside your body while you sleep? And why is nighttime the key to restoring the strength you thought you had lost? The science behind that process is powerful, and it reveals the real secret behind lasting male performance. 4. How this vegetable restores blood flow while you sleep. Most men never imagine that the most important repair work their body needs doesn't happen during the day, but in the quiet hours of the night. And here's the part that may surprise you. While you sleep, your blood vessels are either healing or silently breaking down. For many men over 60, nighttime has become a period of decline instead of renewal, simply because their bodies no longer produce the nitric oxide required to keep their arteries open and functioning. This is why mornings start feeling heavier, colder, and less confident. But beetroot has the remarkable ability to reverse that nighttime decline and turn those hours into the most restorative part of your entire day. When you consume beetroot, something extraordinary happens long after the eating is over. The nitrates inside it begin a transformation that medicine still cannot fully replicate. During the day, these nitrates settle into your saliva and bloodstream. But it's at night, when your heart rate slows and your breathing deepens, that they convert into a powerful wave of nitric oxide. This molecule is the key that unlocks your blood vessels, softens their rigid walls, and allows fresh, oxygen-rich blood to flow into tissues that have been starving for years. Older men feel this more intensely because their bodies have been deprived of it for so long. That nighttime surge doesn't just improve circulation in the penis. It reaches the heart, the brain, the legs, the hands. It brings warmth back to the extremities. It nourishes nerves. It repairs micro tears in blood vessels. It supports healthier blood pressure. It restores a man's sense of physical presence. Every single night becomes an opportunity to rebuild instead of decline. This is why so many men wake up after several weeks of adding beetroot and say they feel unexpectedly refreshed, energized, or renewed. It isn't magic. It's physiology finally working in their favor again. What makes this process so meaningful for many of my patients is that it gives them back something they thought was permanently lost: the ability to wake up feeling strong without needing a pill or an external boost. For the first time in years, they feel their body working with them instead of against them. They notice the return of morning firmness. They feel a lightness in their chest. They sense circulation moving with more ease. It's not youth returning, it's vitality returning. And at this stage of life, that distinction means everything. Nighttime repair is a gift older men rarely receive naturally anymore. Beetroot helps restore that gift. It's gentle, predictable, and deeply compatible with the changes that come after 60. No supplement that promises instant results can do what consistent nighttime nitric oxide renewal does. That renewal is what men rely on for strong erections, clear thinking, and steady energy. But this raises an important question. If improved nighttime circulation feels this powerful, why do so many older men never speak openly about the struggles that led them here? And what emotional truths lie beneath the silence so many men carry? The answer reveals a side of male health most people never acknowledge, and it's something every man deserves to hear. 5. The emotional truth no older man says out loud. Most men don't realize how deeply their silence is hurting them until one moment forces everything to the surface. And here's what I've observed in my years of practice. Performance issues don't just weaken the body. They quietly erode the spirit. Many older men carry the weight of this decline alone, never telling their wives, their doctors, or even their closest friends. They smile through dinners, laugh at family gatherings, nod along during conversations, all while wrestling with a private fear that their masculinity is slipping away piece by piece. The shock is not that their bodies change with age, it's how suddenly those changes begin to affect the way they see themselves. There is a grief that comes with feeling less capable than you once were. It's a slow, quiet ache, a mix of embarrassment, confusion, and a longing for the days when desire felt effortless and the body responded without hesitation. Many men describe it as losing a part of their identity, something they never expected to miss so deeply. They feel the distance it creates in their relationships. They notice how intimacy becomes less spontaneous, how confidence fades in moments that used to bring joy, and yet they keep it to themselves, believing that saying it out loud somehow makes it more real. But the truth is, none of this decline is a reflection of their worth. These struggles are rooted in biology, circulation, nitric oxide, vessel health, not in masculinity or character. The emotional burden doesn't come from the problem itself, but from the belief that they should somehow endure it in silence. When my patients realize their frustration is not weakness, but physiology, something shifts inside them for the first time. They allow themselves to hope that improvement is possible. This is why the return of blood flow means more than physical change. When circulation improves, so does a man's sense of self. He starts to feel present again, confident again, connected again. The emotional lift is just as powerful as the physical one. Men often tell me that what comes back is not just performance, but the quiet assurance that they are still capable of showing up fully for the woman they love, for the life they're still building, for themselves. And when they wake up one morning with a firmness they haven't felt in years, it's not just a physical reaction. It's a reminder that their body hasn't given up on them. This emotional rebirth is the reason so many men describe the process as getting their life back. Not because beetroot is magical, but because restoration touches parts of a man far deeper than the surface. It rebuilds the bridge between who he was and who he still wants to be. But these emotions, powerful as they are, become even more meaningful when paired with real stories. Men just like you who rediscovered strength in ways they thought were no longer possible. Let's move into those stories now. 6. Real men, real results. Stories from my clinic. Most men assume that when their performance begins to fade, they are alone in that experience. But here is the truth I've witnessed firsthand. Some of the strongest, toughest, most disciplined men you could ever meet have sat across from me with the same worry in their eyes. Men who built companies, served in the military, raised families, survived loss, and overcame illness. Yet nothing shook them quite like feeling their body fail them in a deeply personal way. And what's even more striking is how quickly their lives began to change once their blood flow returned. Their stories are not just medical examples. They are emotional journeys that show what is possible when the right support reaches an aging body. One of my patients, a retired firefighter in his late 60s, came to me after years of trying supplements that promised the world but delivered nothing. He sat down heavily in the chair and said, almost whispering, that he could no longer recognize himself. He felt smaller, weaker, embarrassed, disconnected from the version of himself he once took pride in. When he introduced beetroot into his routine, he didn't expect much. He had already been disappointed too many times. But just a few weeks later, he returned with a different posture, shoulders set, voice steadier. He told me that one morning, completely unexpectedly, he woke up with a level of firmness he hadn't felt in more than a decade. He said it felt like a part of him had walked back through the door after being gone far too long. Another patient, a gentle 73-year-old grandfather, once confessed that he had accepted defeat. He believed decline was inevitable and that the spark he once carried as a husband was something he had to surrender gracefully. He tried beetroot not because he believed in it, but because he wanted to feel like he had done everything he could. What happened next surprised him deeply. His energy improved first, then his circulation, then his confidence. Slowly, moments of intimacy that had become rare began returning with a softness and ease that made him emotional. He told me, with tears in his eyes, that he felt connected to his wife in a way he thought had disappeared forever. These stories are powerful not because they are rare, but because they are common. The body wants to heal. It wants to restore blood flow. It wants to rebuild performance. Sometimes it simply needs the right signal, the right support at the right stage of life. Beetroot offered these men something supplements and medications never could: natural restoration, steady progress, and the return of a deeply personal strength. When men hear these stories, something awakens inside them. The belief that maybe, just maybe, their best days are not behind them, but as life-changing as these transformations are. There is a hidden mistake many men unknowingly make that can shut this process down almost completely. And unless it's corrected, even the most powerful natural solution cannot reach its full potential. In the next section, I'll reveal that mistake. 7. The number one mistake that kills nitric oxide by 80%. Most men are stunned when they learn that one simple habit. Something they've done their entire lives without a second thought can wipe out nearly all the benefits of the very solution they're trying to use. It doesn't matter how faithfully they eat the vegetable, how consistent they are, or how much hope they have in their hearts. This one mistake can shut the entire process down. And it happens not because men don't care, but because no one ever told them just how delicate and essential nitric oxide production truly is, especially after age 60. The mistake is brushing their teeth or using mouthwash too soon after consuming beets. It sounds harmless, even responsible, yet it disrupts a biological pathway older men depend on more than they realize. The nitrates in beetroot do not turn into nitric oxide on their own. They require the help of specific bacteria in the mouth that convert nitrates into nitrites, which the body then transforms into nitric oxide during sleep. When men brush their teeth immediately after eating or rinse with strong antiseptic mouthwash, they kill off the very bacteria needed for this process. In doing so, they erase nearly 80% of the potential blood flow benefits beetroot can offer. For many of my patients, this discovery is emotional. They realize they haven't been failing. They've simply been unknowingly interrupting the healing pathway their body was trying to use. They think back on the frustration they felt, the embarrassment, the disappointment, the sense that nothing seemed to work, and they understand for the first time that their biology wasn't resisting improvement. It was being blocked. And the relief that comes from knowing the problem was never personal can be profound. When men correct this mistake, the difference can be startling. They begin to feel warmth return to their extremities. They notice a deeper sense of vitality when they wake up. Their nighttime blood flow becomes more consistent, their morning firmness stronger, and their overall sense of energy more predictable. Suddenly, the progress they had been waiting for arrives, not in dramatic overnight bursts, but in steady, reassuring steps that build confidence day by day. It feels like the body is finally cooperating, finally healing, finally remembering how to function with strength and purpose. This small shift, waiting 2 to 3 hours after eating beets before brushing the teeth, becomes a turning point for many men. It teaches them that their body is capable, responsive, and resilient when given the chance. It teaches them that healing is not out of reach, and it reinforces a truth many men forget. The body is always trying to move toward balance and restoration. Sometimes it just needs a door opened instead of closed. But while correcting this mistake can dramatically improve nighttime blood flow, there is an even deeper benefit that older men often experience, one that extends beyond performance and touches the heart, the brain, and even longevity itself. 8. How nighttime blood flow protects your heart, brain, and longevity after age 60. Most men don't realize that the same decline stealing their performance is also silently reshaping their future health in ways far more serious than they've been told. Poor nighttime blood flow isn't just about weaker erections. It's one of the earliest signs that the heart, the brain, and the entire vascular system are struggling to keep up with the demands of aging. Doctors rarely explain this connection, and I'll be honest with you, it's an area our profession needs to do far better on. Yet it affects every breath you take, every step you walk, every memory you try to hold on to. And for many men, it is only when circulation begins to return that they understand how deeply their body was suffering in silence. When beetroot increases nighttime nitric oxide levels, something remarkable happens inside you. Your heart, which has spent years pumping against stiff, narrow vessels, finally feels relief. The arteries relax, the pressure eases, blood moves more freely. For some men, it is the first time in decades their cardiovascular system has had a moment of genuine calm. This restoration doesn't just feel good. It protects the heart from long-term damage. It helps reduce the strain that contributes to hypertension, fatigue, and the shortness of breath many older men chalk up to just getting older. But it isn't just age, it's circulation. At the same time, your brain receives a surge of oxygen-rich blood during the deepest stages of sleep. This improved flow supports memory, clarity, focus, and emotional balance. Many men describe waking up with a sharper mind, a steadier mood, and a renewed sense of presence. They feel more alert and engaged in their daily lives. This is not coincidence. The brain depends on nighttime blood flow to clear out metabolic waste, repair neural pathways, and fortify the systems that protect cognition as you age. When circulation is weak, these processes suffer. When it improves, the entire mental landscape changes. And then there's cellular repair, the quiet, invisible work your body performs each night. Nitric oxide plays a role in reducing inflammation, healing micro tears in blood vessels, and restoring the tissues that support sexual function, cardiovascular health, and muscular strength. Older men often notice that their joints feel looser, their sleep deeper, their mornings less stiff. They interpret these improvements as signs of recovery. And they are right. Restoration is unfolding under the surface, guided by a molecule their body had been missing for far too long. This is why the impact of beetroot reaches beyond performance. It supports longevity, vitality, and the quality of life every man deserves as he moves through his 60s, 70s, and beyond. It reminds men that aging does not have to be a downward slide. With the right support, the body can recover, rebuild, and even surprise you with its resilience. But understanding the science and hearing the stories means little unless a man recognizes what this journey truly represents, a chance to reclaim strength, hope, and connection to himself. And that realization leads us into the final message, the one every man over 60 needs to hear. Conclusion, gentlemen, if there is one truth I hope has reached you today, it is this: your body has not given up on you. The changes you felt, the weakening circulation, the fading confidence, the loss of morning strength, were never signs that you were broken or beyond help. They were signals. Your body was asking for support in a language most men were never taught to understand. And now that you know what it has been trying to tell you, you have the power to respond in a way that can transform the years ahead. For far too long, men have been encouraged to chase solutions that only scratch the surface. Supplements that promise everything. Medications that stimulate rather than restore. Advice that ignores the deeper truth of aging. Performance begins and ends with blood flow. When circulation weakens, everything becomes harder. Movement, sleep, clarity, intimacy. But when blood flow improves, the body wakes up in ways that defy expectations. Beetroot is not a miracle. It is simply a key that fits the lock many older men have been trying to open for years. It gives the body a chance to repair, a chance to breathe again, a chance to restore its natural rhythm. This journey is not about trying to be 25 again. It is about honoring the man you are today and giving him every advantage to live with strength, dignity, connection, and vitality. Aging does not diminish your worth. It does not reduce your masculinity. It does not erase the decades of life, love, responsibility, and resilience that have shaped you. What it does do is ask you to adapt, to learn new ways of supporting your body as it changes. And in that adaptation, there is opportunity, not defeat. The men who have walked this path before you discovered something remarkable. When you restore circulation, you restore confidence. When you nourish the body, you nourish the mind. When you take small, consistent steps to support yourself, the world begins to feel brighter, lighter, more manageable. You wake up a little stronger. You breathe a little deeper. You smile a little easier. And you start to believe, often for the first time in years, that the best chapters of your life may still be ahead of you. So as you move forward, remember this: your health is not a burden. It is an invitation to care for yourself the way you have cared for others your entire life. To listen to your body with the same patience and compassion you offer to the people you love. And to recognize that change at any age is possible when you give your body what it has been quietly asking for. This is your moment to choose renewal over resignation, understanding over frustration, strength over silence. Your journey does not end here. In many ways, it begins now. Gentlemen, take that step. Your body is ready to meet you. If this video has given you hope, clarity, or even just a feeling that you're not walking this path alone, I'd like to ask something simple of you. Take a moment to like this video so more men your age can finally hear the truth about their health instead of staying trapped in silence. Share it with a friend, a brother, or anyone you care about who might be struggling privately and deserves to know that real solutions still exist. And leave a comment below telling me what part of today's message resonated with you most. Your voice matters more than you think, and your comment could be the one that helps another man feel understood and encouraged. If you'd like to support the ongoing creation of videos like this, content designed specifically to serve men over 60 with honesty, compassion, and real science, you're welcome to donate through the link below. Every contribution, big or small, helps me reach more men who need guidance, reassurance, and real answers. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking charge of your health, and thank you for believing that it's never too late to reclaim your strength.